let's talk for a moment about how we got here. Lots of fingers being pointed, including at you and your friends. I spoke to David Friedberg from the production board, one of your besties in the All In pod today, about the accusations out there that investors like you guys actually fed this problem early on by raising the alarm on social media and in private channels. Here's what he said.
Listening to people on Twitter from Silicon Valley telling them what to do, they saw what happened with this balance sheet, and they went out and they moved their money out of their smaller banks into big banks. That's it. That's what happened last week. And it was the beginning of what I think we're now seeing with First Republic today. And I can tell you, I got a list of other names that I've had friends say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And they're all going to B of A, JP Morgan, Citi, and Wells, and they're coming out of somewhere else. And where they're coming out of already has typically 10% margin of equity to assets. That's a very narrow margin for decline in asset values, particularly when you have to get liquid really fast to fund those withdrawals. So very quickly get to be a cascading problem. And that's why I think there was so much vocalness last week. I made a bet with a friend of mine on where the 10-year would end up at the end of this week. I think it's 3.5, but I think we'll end up below 3.35 by the end of the week.
Well, to blame VCs, investors, for sparking a run.
No, this is shooting the messenger. Listen, I didn't tweet about SVB or talk about it on my pod until SVB was already in receivership. And the runs had already begun on the next set of banks. So the run had already begun on Signature. The runs had already begun on a number of these banks that are now being shored up by the Fed. So the bank run had already started. I mean, we were just reacting to it. We were reporting what we were seeing. And we were disturbed by the fact that the regulatory authorities in the government hadn't spoken out yet. I mean, again, I tweeted on Friday afternoon, where's Yellen? Where's Powell? Why aren't they talking about it? I think we were drawing attention to a problem that needs to be solved immediately. And I think that was constructive. Maybe nobody was listening. Maybe their actions were taken regardless. But I don't see how you can blame us for drawing attention to a problem that, frankly, the government caused. You know, this is a classic, I think, kind of CYA tactic where they try to blame the person who's noticing the problem instead of the people who are actually causing the problem.